did placating the far left of the Democratic Party do enough to outweigh the loss of enthusiasm and maybe even the anger of Jewish Americans who are predominantly Democrat?
Look, this was a disappointing decision. I wrote an op-ed in the Times. Look, Shapiro was an ideal candidate. He gets you Pennsylvania, probably. He had breaks with Democratic left on a number of issues, so he really put down a marker that this is a campaign that Nikki Haley voters could vote for, that soft Democrats could vote for, that moderates could vote for. And instead, Bernie Sanders' choice got chosen. Now, I can't speculate why or how she made the decision, because I don't know. But I can say that it really, Jewish voters are concerned. The Mideast is on the brink of war, as your breaking news says. And I think they would have felt more reassured if Shapiro, the logical choice, had been picked to be vice president. And this is a puzzling choice, although in fairness, both campaigns, both Trump's campaign and Harris's campaign, now doubled down on the base in their vice presidential picks and did not go for the center.
Yeah, it's perplexing. I think you make a great point, because we know why Trump didn't pick Nikki Haley, right? Because of his ego. It's obvious that that was the pick. Why Kamala Harris didn't pick Josh Shapiro is more perplexing, especially when you listen to what Democrats say the stake is, right? The country, the republic is at stake. But we're not going to pick the guy who is the obvious one to help us win. It shows you that there is something else happening. Are we going to see Jewish Americans break significantly with the Democratic Party this time around?
Well, I don't think you're going to see them protesting outside the convention. I think they're silent protesters, and I think recent polls show Jewish voters. Look, Jews are 2%. Muslims are 1% of the country, but the left is, let's say when I ask in my polls, do you support Israel or Hamas? It's 80-20. Support Israel, 20 support Hamas. So 20%, those are almost all Democrats. So I suppose it's a fair number within the Democratic Party, but it's not a majority. And so she went against the majority of the Democratic Party here. And I think that Jews are going to be watching very closely over these next few days when Israel is under maximum pressure and the Biden-Harris administration is going to be called upon to defend Israel against Iran.
Yeah, we don't have the sound bites loaded, but both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz began their speeches fawning over Josh Shapiro. And you could tell it was in the teleprompter when they did it. I also thought, though, that there may be another reason, to be fair to Kamala Harris, why she didn't pick him, is because when we watched Josh Shapiro speak and heard him, he was the star of the night, not being picked. If Harris loses, not being picked is probably the best thing that ever happened to Josh Shapiro.
It may well end up that way, but it would have been good for her to pick somebody who was articulate, who was tough, who was a leader, showing that she wanted to really have the best of the best as part of her administration and as a vice presidential candidate. Look, on so many levels, I think this was a bad choice. But like I said, I think Trump made a bad choice too, right? He didn't pick Rubio or Tim Scott, but I think Rubio was really the logical choice for him. And I think Shapiro was the logical choice. And both of those choices would have made history. And neither candidate decided to make history with those choices.
Well, you know what's interesting, Mark, is that I got two agreements from Geraldo at the top of the show. And now we got you on board as well, because we all said exactly the same thing. But both of them, both people who want to be president of the United States and make the hard choices and are talking about their ability to show leadership and moral courage, meaning both Trump and Harris in their vice presidential picks, showed absolutely none. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.